look at your fabulous background and how beautiful you are. I've been really looking forward to this one. I'm so happy.
Oh, I had to show up and show out for you. You know I love you.
I love you. Look, I hearted your interview.
Love that. Oh, Lila. I Let me say before we get started, I'm so proud of you and so in awe and inspired by you that you started in Gossip Girl and then went to Bluebell, Alabama, and now, girl, you are just dark, and I love it.
I am so proud of you, and I think you are such a superstar. In every single Instagram post, I am bursting with pride. Like, you have made yourself a celebrity, and just through your sheer brilliance and force of incredibleness. And I'm so proud that the world sees what I always do.
Thank you, Lila. I really appreciate you. I do. I want to talk to you about Saint X, though, girl. So how did you become awakened to Alexis's novel?
As you know, I hadn't created a dark show yet. And I was coming off Handmaid's Tale, and I was actually kind of avoiding dark things, particularly dark things about things that happen to women. And I was like, oh boy. And then this book came out my way, and I loved it from page one. And it's such a special book, and I knew I had to do it.
The way that the Black community ostracizes ostracizes us when it's found out that you are not straight. So I wanted to know because I haven't read the book. So was there a big shift between the way you attacked that for the screen as opposed to the way it was written out in the book, or is it pretty much the same?
And of course, that stigmatization, which is a hard word to say, is something that we
right?
Spoke about in the writer's room all the time. And I obviously had writers on the staff who had experienced that themselves. And it's something that I spoke about at length with Edwin and no, not Edwin, Jaden and Josh. With Jaden and Josh, and it's a conversation that we're really excited when they get there for the audience to have.
Yeah, it's gonna have a lot of conversations around it, which is why I wanted to ask about it. And then I also wanted to ask about this. The piece also speaks to the difference between love and obligation with a lot of couples on vacation on this island, right? And so I'm wondering, do you see a difference between being in love with somebody or being obligated with somebody? And how did that inform how you created this world in Saint X?
It's a really great question. I think that that's exactly true, that some of these couples are obligated to each other and some of them really love each other. And I think that love should not feel like an obligation. And in essence, although I'm saying this as a parent, and we have obligations to each other, and you can have obligations, but you shouldn't feel obligated to be with someone. And I think a lot of the show is dealing with what is love and what is real and what is I'm really interested in the relationship between Gogo and Sarah, because he really thinks that they are in love, and she has such a more realistic understanding of what it is. He's really naive and childish and has had this crush on her for forever, but she understands that he doesn't really love her because he doesn't really know her. He doesn't really understand her. And they have a child together, and what he feels for her is not, and what she feels for him for sure is not love.
There's a bit of obligation and love with him, where she's just I was hurt, I was feeling some kind of way, so I did what I needed to do in that moment, but that doesn't mean that I'm in love with you. I like you, but I'm not, and I love you as a friend, but I'm not in love with you. And I thought that was a really cool dynamic to explore throughout. Having a daughter yourself, what type of freedom would you let her have when you're on vacation like that? Would you let her, do her thing and go it alone? Or would you be like, I'm gonna need to have some kind of thing on your phone?
Yeah, that's her. She's gonna have an ankle bracelet, so I know where she is at all time. It's really hard, like kids are stupid and teenagers are stupid, and the idea, like, my daughter's 14, the idea she's gonna get a driver's license. I know, can imagine she was so little when
She was teeny tiny.
The idea that she's gonna get behind the wheel of like a car. 2 years is crazy, but you have to let them do this, right? I think like it's part of parent is knowing that you have to let your kid do things and make stupid mistakes, and you pray with every fiber of your being that doesn't become an Allison situation.
Did you have an opportunity? Have you read Toni Morrison books before? And if you had you really delved into Paradise? Because I see Paradise being shown and spoken about often.
Yes. Well, I read a lot of Toni Morrison. I went to Cornell, and she got her MFA, I want to say, at Cornell. So like we were signed her books in every class, and I love her. She was like one of the most formative authors that I read, in my when I was an Allison in college, which I sort of was. I want to say, and reading Toni Morrison really opened my eyes. So I really wanted to have that be part of this story as well. Like, I thought it was really important, and having Paradise right on the bed was like a really good wink wink to where we are in time.
I thought that was brilliant. I kind of love that. I don't know if everybody will pick up on that, but I picked up on it. And and last but not least, this series speaks a lot to being responsible for your choices and the consequences that lie within them. Have you ever made a choice that you regretted what the consequence was on the other side of it? You don't have to tell me what it is, because we don't want that out in the ether, but just how you felt about that.
No, I mean, I think that's exactly what this show is talking about. I think we've all made choices. I'm so glad you asked me that question, because like that is really right. What's at the heart of this is that you think about the consequences of what you do. Everything that happens has consequences, and being a guest on someone else's island, I think you should be extra careful. And so yeah, it's really interesting, and I think the trauma too is like really important. The trauma that everyone experiences, not like just from this one crazy night, and that's what happens, right?
I loved being able to have Tim. I don't think I've spent 10 minutes with you since we wrapped Pot of Dixie, but
you can have a follow-up if you want, because you're my favorite. So
we don't need a follow-up, but I just want to say to you that I'm really happy to see you delving into such worlds that are so unlike your own and so unlike anything that you would ever be involved in your real life, because that makes me know that you are a brilliant writer and a brilliant creator. And having said that, I appreciate that about you. I always have, and I always will. I
appreciate you so much, Carla. You are the best. This is my last interview, and I'm so glad it was like the best one at the end.
Oh, thank you, Leila. I love you. I'll see you soon, I hope. Yeah? Okay. Bye.